All right. We got to do it. And we're not going to get into what we already know about how Kyle Ledbetter feels about the subject, because we still have the actual subject when we actually play the San Antonio Spurs and what's going to come from that. But if you were curious, maybe you saw from some SAC media members, you didn't see from me because I was in my car, essentially towards the end of the game. So the Kings go on their little road trip and they will be back March 7th. Now, who do the Kings play on March 7th? The San Antonio Spurs. So, and I don't know how much the Kings were having some fun with this. Look, there's no Wembanyama. You have to feature De'Aaron Fox on the graphic. That is what it is. So they did a promo, all right, towards the end of the game. Everybody's feeling good. You're beating the dog poop out of the Charlotte Hornets. And the Kings, they put on the Jumbotron, hey, be sure to get your tickets for our next home game, March 7th, against the San Antonio Spurs. And the picture was De'Aaron Fox. So when that picture popped up, some boos started to rain down from the Golden One Center. And, depending on who you ask, the number of boos will change. So I've seen people say that there were a lot, quote, a lot of boos. I've seen other people say that there were some boos. But man, oh man, this thing is going to get ugly. So it took me back to the whole, 2-3 weeks ago conversation of De'Aaron Fox and, who he is to the team and what he brought to the team. And I honestly just came to the conclusion of, I was having some fun. Was it the 775 earlier on the text line, just about why Kings fans like to bag on other Kings fans. And I don't know that it's specifically a Sacramento thing, but Sacramento, it really, I feel like, not to go High School Musical here, it should be all in this together, right? And I feel like that's not always the case. And there's been a lot of policing based on how people feel things have ended with De'Aaron Fox in Sacramento. And I don't think this will be in unison. I think there will be some cheers and there will be some boos. I think it will be, I don't know that the boos will be overwhelming, but I think there will be out there. And honestly, the more I thought about this, it just turned into, this is how things tend to end when there's not enough success, right? I'm trying to think of other situations, other conversations where a team went to the playoffs once. There was a little bit of drama based on how things ended. The player that moved on got one All-NBA, one All-Star, really wasn't much, and then goes on to do some kind of questionable things on social media and talking to fans and things like that. This is how things end when there's not enough success. That's the conclusion that I've come to. It ain't about Sacramento. Oh man, Sacramento looks bad. No, every fan base, this happens with every fan base when there is a breakup and there are not enough good times. There were not enough good times with the Kings and De'Aaron Fox, and that is why there will be some boos. That led to all of this, right? If there were more good times, maybe De'Aaron's still a King. The fact of the matter is there was not enough success during De'Aaron's tenure. You can blame that on whoever you want to blame it with, but when a star leaves and there is a perception of a lack of success or not enough success for you to leave before that success is achieved, and which is relatively speaking, they're going to be boos, especially when somebody isn't really quiet on the way out, right? We had a lot of conversations and people thought it was silly, but other people didn't think it was silly. You're unfollowing teammates while the wound is still fresh. Obviously, there was some level of bad blood. We don't know what it is. Malik saying, I never talked to the guy about what was going on. There are going to be boos. I don't know how many. I don't know if it will be all boos. And you know what De'Aaron's going to say? Cue up the doesn't really matter drop. Because that's what he's going to say. You know, and is that how he really feels? I don't know.
Doesn't really matter.
I don't know.
It doesn't really matter.
But you showed the graphic yesterday. You got a little bit of a taste. Because, again, a lot of people, that's what's interesting. A lot of people just go to watch the games, man. I understand that this is what I live and breathe because this puts food on the table for my family. So I'm in this. It's my job to be in this. But let's take a step away from, and one thing that always puts things into perspective for me when it comes to sports and sports celebrities versus other celebrities, if you eliminate LeBron and Steph and KD, those three, and the Cristiano Ronaldos of the world and Messi's, go look at a B-list celebrity on Instagram compared to somebody that you think is a star in whatever sport, right? It puts things into perspective on how big the sports world is, especially when it comes to social media. So I don't think that there will be, maybe I'll be wrong, and we'll talk about it more as we get closer. I don't think that there will be that many boos simply because if I look at Golden One, probably to put in perspective, about 20% of Golden One is going to be up on game on everything that's happened. Maybe 30. 70 to 80% will have no clue what De'Aaron Fox said because they're just there to watch the game. They're just there to watch the game. The casual viewers have no clue that De'Aaron unfollowed Sabonis or never told Malik Monk or said this or said that. They just know that, hey, when I come to the games, De'Aaron, we had a lot of fun with De'Aaron, and now De'Aaron's gone. So, thanks for the good times, De'Aaron. It's not as if we were that successful before De'Aaron anyway. So I do think the booing, I could be way off. I do think the booing will be overblown, and I think it'll be 20 to 30% that are up on game on King's social media, but I do think 70 to 80% have no clue what's going on. That's what I think will happen.
Hey, you know what? I am having a good day, and 80% of what you said I fundamentally disagree with, but you know what? Just gonna let it go for today. I'm not gonna start it, not gonna clap back on the conversation, just
it doesn't really matter.
We have plenty of time. Like I said, March 7th is coming, but that was the first taste that we saw. And I could be completely wrong, and maybe I'm underselling King's, not fandom, but the specific niche of I know every little thing that has happened.
Or I'm angry about how everything went out and I want to express that.
Right. I don't know. Maybe a lot of, maybe I'm underselling the power of this show. All I do is report. I don't. And throw a jab here or there. There's plenty of jabs to come.
You're a big, I'm just asking questions guy.
I am just asking questions.
But we know what that means.
I am just asking questions. That's all I do. That's all I've been doing.
At this point, just seeing all the responses even for this, I don't even know if I want to get people riled up going into March 7th. Like, I think I
do. I do.
I don't think people can be trusted with that. It's already gotten out of hand in my mind, and I said, I'm not gonna dive into it today.
Look, man, just play the game. Just play the game. That's all we ask.
That's easy for you to say.
Just play the game. That's it. Just play the game. All right, let's continue the conversation on the other side. What are the